welcome back to today's video. We're going to play Cities Skylines. In today's video, we're going to be doing another speed build. And so we expand our campus, and then we also start to build onto this new area that we've now connected our city to, in terms of where our campus is, or well, our new campus is. And well, I do end up doing some stuff, which you'll see in a couple of moments. No, not necessarily moments, but in a couple minutes. I start by expanding our campus and place down our study hall, and then I place down more roads in, and then I place on a cafeteria, surround that with roads, and then I just place down a forget what that, I don't know what that building is called, but I place down that building, and then I place down this little park here, and then I just added in some more dorms in the back of here, just to make it feel more lively, I guess. And so I did just make it to where I could put a path going behind them, just for like maintenance, I guess. I don't know, very well, like garbage collection. And then I came over to here just because I thought of the idea of putting in a train station in. And while this wouldn't exactly be necessarily fully realistic, because Allentown, I don't believe they have a train station, which if they do, it isn't like something that is big, so then I end up placing it in, although, well, I will get into why I did some other stuff with it later, but then I kind of just have to do this quick little redesign to put in a small little S-curve in. Although it doesn't really end up working, so I kind of just go with that. How I did with the track, and then for this like area, or that piece of track, I just moved it to where it's over there. Instead of there. Just so this way I connect it in better. And then I just redesigned the curve a bit. And then well, then I made it to where the trains would then come off from there, and then just cut directly through all these buildings just to get across, which I wish you could set to where tracks could only have passenger trains on them, and then, well, then I wouldn't have the problems that I ended up having. And well, the big problem was that these trains keep getting stuck in traffic from the cargo trains, and then also cargo trains were coming into our network from that route too, so that was getting incredibly backed up, and I didn't really want that. So well, I eventually just kind of get rid of it, just because it doesn't really work as intended. But I do just look at it just to see how well it performs while I wait for us to get our academic works for leveling it up. And then I came over here for the biggest part of our episode here, which will be our new cargo airport. So I decided to build this over here. And, well, I first obviously started by putting in the cargo terminal, which instead of putting it on that road, I just decided to put it on there, but then it ended up colliding with that, so then I just moved it over, and then I forgot that, well, it has a road on it. But I just placed it in the runway there, and then I just thought that to see if I could put taxiways over railroad tracks, which you can't, just because I did want to put in like a small planes airport, which would be back here, but we ended up not doing that in this episode, but we might maybe do that with this airport. But so I just did a nice curve going around there, just to allow that. And then, well, obviously we need to have taxiways, and then I did just put in a couple, parked cargo planes along here. Which just need a couple finishing touches, mostly fences. And then I did just put in a little refuel thing there. But instead of placing it there, I just wanted to place it at the end of this like line. Just because if planes aren't going to be, well, if they aren't going to be stopping at one of the, well, where they unload their cargo, then they can just unload, or well, then they can just go on this taxiway just to pass that. And this just allows for that, and then just connect it all in, and then I just built a little concourse there just so I could put in a tower, because obviously the airport has to have a tower. And then just put in a little office there just to hopefully get some power across, which it didn't end up doing that, but once we get some more stuff in there, that should hopefully do it. In terms of getting power across, went through, got rid of some abandoned buildings. And then in an effort to stop freight traffic from going on this line, I just changed around the track to where instead of merging with it, I made it to where it goes across it. And if you don't know how to do that, well, you just saw me do it. But it's pretty easy to do, to get 90-degree crossings. Just because, well, it's easy. And then also you don't need to necessarily have switches where you physically couldn't have a switch. Because obviously trains can do small 90-degree turns with that. But then I come over to the train station here, and then in order to try and get some people in, I just start on some unique buildings. And then because train traffic still went on that line, I just reorganized, I just deleted some of the tracks going into the train station here. Some of these freight trains did just break, so I just reset them and made them despawn. Or some of them kind of just realized that they just wanted to go back to where they came from. And then I just realized that we only got one somehow from our for active works. But I added in some more stuff. I looked around the city for some other stuff, and then I also just looked to see if there was quite a bit of flat land over in this direction, because I want to do some sort of train line like I have in my town, in that it pretty much just connects into the major city of New York, and they all kind of connect into that, this being like New York in terms of that. And then they would just link into a whole load of suburbs, but then I ended up just getting rid of that whole entire rail line there, and then I just fixed up at the station. And then, because I built in the train station, it does have a metro connection, more specifically an elevated metro connection. I put a nice little elevated metro station there. And then I made it to where this line just perfectly cuts across past this library here. And then across the water, then we did have to move our London Eye. Just in this way we could get, well, some stuff to, very well, the trains to actually go across, obviously, because we need to have a rail line in. And then I just put in a line that goes through there. Well, no one will pretty much ride it right now. It will still end up being used. And either way, the station then we will also end up using for the intercity trains, because there's a train right over on this side of the city. And then, well, if we really wanted to, we could put the other airport over here, right near this train station, just in this way. Well, then we can easily get, very well, then we could have an excuse for having a big train station here, instead of just that, in terms of it connecting to suburbs and some interstate trains, because obviously here in the US, there ain't exactly a whole lot of more good train service here, so kind of just gotta well, imagine, although train service is set to improve a whole lot in the next like 10 to 25 years, because Amtrak is opening a whole load of newer routes. Which, if you don't know, Amtrak is our rail company that's services passenger rail inside the US. And then, well, Canada's is via rail, but and then I just looked around, and then I realized in our high-rise district there was well, there was a high-rise band on it, and it's called the high-rise district. Why would we want to have a high-rise band there? And, well, then I did just put in district about high-rise band over the offices that were supposed to block the industrial area, and I did just go back and put IT cluster on them, just because then you can get those absolutely huge skyscrapers. And then I just put in this little pedestrian street here just to act as like some sort of nice little like main street for just people to come and shop and stuff like that. And, well, then I got rid of that bus line except for the part that goes to the university. And, well, that was it for what we built today. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a trap, and I'll see you next one. Bye!